People who lost their virginity after age 35 or never did. What's your story? I was 35. Fat, no self-esteem, the usual story. I had long since given up on actively looking for dates. I was comfortable being single and had made peace with my life. Then I just happened to meet someone on a bus while on vacation and we clicked. Did the semi-long distance thing for a couple months before properly hooking up. The first time was predictably awkward. She knew what she was doing though, and I've since figured things out. Practice makes perfect and whatnot. Eventually she moved in with me and we got married. Still are. It's not a super interesting story or anything, but you asked for it. I'm in the or never did camp. Not much of a story to tell. Just too much of a recluse and lacking self-confidence. So, there was never an opportunity and a few decades later here I am. No time like the present. Okay, well actually, maybe give it a few weeks. But then, get out there and bang. Never too late. Girls think I'm gay and gay people think I'm ugly. 48 years old here. Never had anything to offer. Zero self-confidence. Face like an orc. Never even attempted to attract a woman. Never got further than polite conversation. My ex was a 35-year-old virgin. I was 39 at the time. So this would have been about 8 years ago. It just never happened for her. She always thought there would be plenty of time and next thing you know she was 35 and I was her first boyfriend. I understood this coming in. It came up as a conversation before we became an exclusive couple and it didn't bother me for the most part. After we were exclusive for a month or so I thought we would get to at least a PG-13 relationship, under the bra over the pants, and she said how much it made her feel like a whore. I stuck in for a while, but that was nearly a deal breaker for me. There's one thing to be cautious, but if you're that uncomfortable with sexuality then I started to get concerned. Boy was I wrong. About a month after that she was comfortable enough that I performed oral on her. I was content with the thought that this would be our sex life for the next year. A week later she wanted to reciprocate and boom, off to the races. Without giving ungentlemanly details, let's just say the next 3 months were her wanting to experiment with everything that she felt was missing. I'm 40 and still a virgin, something I never thought I'd be freely admitting on the internet to strangers, but there you go. Basically my parents told me from a really young age that I was ugly and weird and no one would want me. Any boy I did get close with, my mum pretty much scared away within a few days, then told everyone it hadn't worked out because I wasn't interested in that sort of thing. To this day I don't know why she did this. Maybe it was a control thing, or she had some kind of hang up herself, no idea. Of course, people at school picked up on this, especially at primary school, since my mother taught at the school I attended, and so made comments about my appearance in front of the other students, who gleefully picked this up as prime bullying material. Anyway, upshot was that by the time I left home at 18 and went to college, I was convinced myself that I was ugly and weird and no one would want to go near me. I didn't bother taking care of myself or making any effort because I'd always been told there was no point. So it became a vicious circle kind of thing. I'm by no means a beauty, but I realize now I'm not as hideous as everyone made out. Even when I eventually realized that my mum was nuts and I had to be my own person, the damage was kind of done. No matter how much I try to be confident now, there's always that big bit of me that thinks, do I have a right to use a dating app when really I'm such a waste of space, or doesn't want to try anything like Tinder or whatever because you need to upload a picture and a big part of me thinks it'll put people off. People pick up on that lack of confidence when I speak to them IRL, and it puts people off, which then eats away at my self-esteem even more, to the point where I really don't know how to fix this. To make matters worse, I got breast cancer 6 years ago and had to have some pretty extreme reconstruction because of the type of tumor it was and the damage it did, so I'm now covered in scars. The one bit of my body I used to be proud of was my boobs, and now they're completely horrible. I know I've pushed people away and can think of numerous times when men were hitting on me and I either didn't realize or didn't want to admit it because I was scared I was interpreting things wrongly and would end up making a fool of myself. So I reckon it's self-isolation for me for the foreseeable future. 30-year-old male virgin. Never happened for me in college, despite being sociable and having a pretty large group of friends / acquaintances and being in the type of environment where it should have been easy. I kind of just assumed it would happen at some point. Maybe I would have been more aggressive if I knew what was store for me lol. Then for most of my early / mid 20s was suffering through unemployment / underemployment mixed with the accompanying depression, which made me very uninterested in pursuing relationships, was more concerned with staying alive. Got my first steady 9 to 5 job at 26, but kept putting it off because I was convinced I needed to make more money, establish myself, get my ducks in a row, etc. before anyone would be interested in me. And now at 30, I'm absolutely terrified to put myself out there because I know the virgin thing will come up at some point, and I know it's not normal unless maybe you're religious. Like just imagining having to explain it to someone my age after 2 to 3 dates, yikes. So yeah, good times. Edit. Just wanted to say thanks for the kind words and different perspectives. It's encouraging to hear other people's experiences. I definitely think I'm getting a bit too in my head about this, which I have a tendency to do. I'll probably make the decision about whether to disclose or not on an individual basis. I know even if it might make some hypothetical girl uncomfortable, it's not the end of the world and there will be others for whom it's not a big deal. Just have to put myself out there more. Good thing there's a pandemic going on. Stop asking about my future. We will be powerful wizards. I had a work colleague who at age 42 is still a virgin. Thing is, she wanted to have sex. She talked about it all the time. She wasn't religious. She didn't want to be married first. She didn't have any reason to not have sex. She just said it just never happened for her. And then as she got older and older, it got harder and harder because potential partners thought it was weird. She's a pretty attractive woman too, so. Edit. To clear things up, I'm also a woman and have no D to offer her. I have a friend like this. He's 45. He had an inane list of criteria a woman must meet before he even dates her. It may have been plausible when he was younger, but now I wish him good luck. Lol. I spent too much time studying while in school and forgot socializing was a thing. This now lead me to my current predicament, where I have a high paying job but no one I could call even a friend, let alone a lol. Good friend of mine was in his late 30s. He suffered from some really bad social anxiety and as a result was really awkward in a lot of social settings. After college he would work, go home, practice playing the drums or watch movies. He wouldn't even travel. I invited him on my adventures several times. He would always find a reason to not come. Dude basically worked a good job to make money and buy build an ugly home theater. This last year he decided he was going to try online dating and shit went sideways. We all have bad online dating stories. I convinced him to take up recreational sports. He met a girl playing soccer and they have been together for like 6 months and he lost it to her. He's really come out of his shell the last little bit. 42-year-old virgin. Always been an introvert, never got out much. Now I fear I just missed my chance. Edit. Wow, this kinda blew up. For those curious, comments seem to be split pretty evenly between, you still got time, man. Just put yourself out there and it'll happen. And dude, just get a PROST*TUTE and get it over with. And yes, I have seen that Steve Carell movie. 29/M. I had so much anxiety about myself and low self-esteem issues that it took until August last year for me to even go on a couple of dates. Ultimately it didn't work out. She didn't want to be with someone who had a lot of learning to do, and frankly with the bustle of work / hobbies / socializing and self-care, I kind of forgot about pursuing a relationship until now. Not me. My BF was 35 when he lost his. I was his first. I, on the other hand, is a divorcee. He is an introvert and quite awkward in conversations. The only reason that we got to know each other well was because I rented his ebon broom for 2 weeks. Nothing sexual happened during that time. We just got to spend time talking and doing some hikes together. The tension was undeniable, but we stayed decent to each other as we both didn't want to do anything to spoil the bond we had slowly created. We became friends first, and now after about 2 years of having a long distance relationship, we are living together. I lost my virginity at 35. I've always been overweight and a constant fear of rejection kept me from dating most of my life. Almost exactly a year ago I just said frick it and downloaded Tinder. I went on a few dates before meeting the love of my life. She was only a little more experienced than I was and never showed signs of surprise or made me feel weird about being so inexperienced. I intend to propose on the anniversary of our first date. For the people posting saying their chance has passed, it's never too late. Edit. Wow, my first gold, first silver/award in general too. Thank you all for the kind words. This made my day. Now I need to hope the surprise proposal doesn't get spoiled from her seeing this. Edit 2, an apostrophe. Thanks for watching this video. Please consider subscribing so you will never miss a new video.